Eighth graders, welcome to a screencast. And in this lesson, you're going to learn how to do 4 basic spreadsheet operations plus 1 bonus operation. So you're studying spreadsheets today by watching and doing. So it's screencast concept. If you've never watched a screencast before, welcome. And if you have, a couple reminders. You can press pause anytime so that you can digest only so much and then go back and do the activity. You can't watch a screencast straight through, then try to go back and remember everything that was covered. So when I watch a screencast, first thing I do is make sure that I'm not in full screen, because I think it's nice to take the screencast, which is basically a YouTube video, and tear it away and put it on one side of my screen. So for example, this is just a random YouTube video, not the screencast video, but if I were watching a screencast video, I would take the tab, tear it away, and move it over and just resize my window so that I could see what's going on in the screencast here, and then also work the activity over in a separate window. So otherwise you're playing the tab shuffle. You're tabbing here to watch the content, and you're going back over here to do the activity. So that's just a tip. Okay, I'm going to close this window. I don't need that open anymore. I'm going to try to maximize the amount of space I have here for the lesson. So let's get right to it. So what you're looking at right in front of you is it's a spreadsheet, and a spreadsheet is rows and columns of numbers. And I've shared this with you, so you guys each have your own copy. And what you see is a column full of numbers here and a column full of numbers here. And what we're going to learn is how to enter a formula so that the computer will automatically add up the numbers in each of these two columns, subtract them, multiply them, divide them, and then raise 1 to the other's power. Okay, so a couple of things you need to know. All right, look on your Mac keyboard on the right side. You need to find these 4 symbols, right? These are your 4 basic operator symbols. And most kids understand that the bottom one that I'm kind of motioning to is how you add. That's subtract. But for students who may not know this, that asterisk is how you imply multiplication, and the forward falling slash is division. All right, so keep those in mind. And there's also an equal sign here. That's going to be important as you learn to enter formulas. Okay? All right, the lesson's fairly short. I don't like long screencasts because me as a watcher, I have a hard time paying attention that long. So let's cut right to the chase. I want the computer to be able to add up what is in cell A2 and what is in cell B2, right? These are cell references, and you refer to these little squares or cells by their column number, A first, and then their column letter row number, sorry. A2, A3, see, A4, see how that works? All right, so now my cursor is blinking, or is highlighted in cell C2. And I want to teach the computer to add what is in cell A2 and what is in cell B2. So to do that, I'm going to go to my keypad, all right, and I'm typing in an equal sign. That tells the computer that what I'm doing is entering a formula, all right? And then I'm going to type my formula. I want it to add what is in cell A2. So if I type in an A2, it can be uppercase, lowercase, or combo, doesn't make any difference. Notice it color codes it, so I want to use the reference. I don't want to ever add numbers manually in my head, because that's not how you do spreadsheets. And then to tell the computer to add them, I'm going to type in the plus symbol. That's that little symbol I showed you on the keypad over on the side. All right, so right now we've taught it to add what is in cell A2 with, and I'm going to type in the letter B and the number 2. All right, and the color codes it purple. You can kind of see that in the highlight. So as soon as I press return, bam, it gives me that sum. Okay. Now the cool thing about a spreadsheet, take the number 3 right here and change it to 6. And as soon as you press return or enter, that update happens in real time. So that's what a formula does. All right, now here's good news. You can enter this formula as you did before. The formula would look like something like this: equals, right, A3 plus B3. Okay, but there's this cool thing in spreadsheets called the fill handle. And so if you click back in cell C2, all you have to do is put your mouse on that little tiny blue square, it's called the fill handle, and drag downward, and it will copy that formula to the other 3 cells. Isn't that cool? So it saves quite a bit of work. All right, now let's do the next 3 cells. All right, by the way, you might want to pause the screencast and go back and do that activity. Okay, so if you pause and come back, now we're going to enter a formula to calculate the difference. All right, and I want to take, doesn't matter if I take cell B2 away from A2 or the other way around, right? You might get a negative number somewhere along the way. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to type in an equal sign, and we want to take cell A2. We can type the cell, or check this out. You can actually click on the cell with your mouse, and it'll put the reference for you. All right, all you have to do is type in your operator. The operator for subtraction is on your numeric keypad. It's a little dash or hyphen, sometimes we call that. And then I want it to subtract what is in cell B2. So I'm either going to click on the cell, and it'll type in the reference for me, or I could type it manually with my keyboard, B2. And then the important thing is press return. That'll get it to accept it. Notice, like before, if you type in a different number here, I'm going to type in a larger number than 21, like 24. Notice you get a negative number. That should make sense, right? 21 minus 24 is negative 3. So like before, if you take this cell that currently has the correct formula and you fill the other cells, notice when you click on a cell, it has a formula up here, and it automatically adjusted those references. Okay, by the way, that's called a relative copy because the formula changed relative to where the copy occurred. All right, now to get a product, if you paused and done that activity, it's very similar. We're going to type in an equal sign, and we want to take what's in cell A2 and multiply it by what's in cell B2. So the operator is the asterisk. All right, this is going to be a big number, isn't it? 21 times 24 is 504. As you did before, fill. Finally, the quotient. We're going to type in our equal sign, and let's take cell A1 and divide it by what is in cell, divide what A2 is by B2. All right, so anyway, the operator is the forward falling slash. That's what I typed in when you weren't looking. All right, so now I've taught the computer to take A2 and divide it by B2, and the result is, of course, a decimal because 21 divided by 24 is 0.875. When you fill it for the other 3 cells, that is what you get. Okay. Finally, the exponent. All right, what I want to do is take what's in cell A2 and raise it to the power of what is in cell B2. All right, so you're going to get a big number right off the bat, aren't you? Because imagine taking 21 and multiplying it by itself 24 times. So what we're teaching this thing to do right here is to go 21 times 21 times 21 times 21, 24 different times. All right, this is a little bit more reasonable. When it does this one, it's going to take 47, multiply it by itself 5 times. So it'd be like 47 times 47, blah, 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 5 times. Okay, so anyway, when you put in the formula, it looks like this, equals A2. All right, now the operator for doing exponents is the little caret. Okay, and the caret looks like, I don't know, that's what we call that when we were in school. My teacher used to call it hat, but it's the symbol that's right above this number 6 on your top of your numeric keypad. So you got to do Shift 6 to get it. You'll see the little caret symbol. All right, and then I'm going to put my reference B2, and that's a big number. Now we'll explain what the E means. It's basically scientific notation. So if you take and fill this to the other cells, you'll see that same scientific notation. However, the cell G4 has the number in its entirety because it can fit it all. So, all right, the only other thing that I would like to do in this spreadsheet is to teach you how to take these column headings at the top, boldface them, color them, and align them differently because they look funny. You should never have a reference to a column like this that's aligned opposite the entries beneath it. See, the word sum is over here on the left side and the numbers are on the right. So we want to take and either right align these in their cells, or we can center them. That's acceptable too. So anyhow, when you click on a cell, you can go up here to bold it, and then over here you can right align it. That looks better, and then give it a color with your paint bucket, right? I'm going to go with blue like that. Okay, now here's a tip. If you were doing all of the column headings the same way, you could have selected them all. Take some practice. You have to click in the middle of the column, the cell, and drag your mouse over. Okay, it's kind of tricky the first time you do it, but in this instance, I'd rather have you color them each independently, differently. So That's why I didn't do that. So I want you guys can pick the colors that you would like for each of the remaining headings. All right, but we want to bold. I'm going to boldface this one and right align it and give it a different fill color. All right, I like purple. And then the same for the quotient and the exponent. So other than that, people, that is the end of our activity. Make sure that you turn in the spreadsheet, right? There should be a turn in button like always in Google Classroom. So, all right, hope you learned something. Hope you had some fun. And that is the end of our lesson. Have a good one.